I wish to discuss how to prepare yourself to receive this miracle that is already yours. For receiving is an art, just as giving is an art. And most of us have been trained to believe that receiving requires effort, struggle, and worthiness, when in truth, receiving is simply a state of consciousness, a feeling and acceptance of what already is. All things whatsoever ye pray and ask for, believe that ye have received them, and ye shall have them. This statement from Mark 11:24 contains the entire secret of successful prayer. It is not about asking or beseeching some external power for what you desire. Rather, it is about assuming the feeling of already having what you desire. And when you assume this feeling, the miracle that seemed external to you begins to unfold in your world. Let me share with you a principle that has guided my understanding. Imagination creates reality. Your imagination is not a fantasy-making faculty designed to escape reality. No, your imagination is the very substance of reality, the creative power through which God operates in you as you. The eternal body of man is the imagination, and that is God himself, as Blake so beautifully expressed it. When I speak of a miracle coming your way, I am speaking of the natural unfoldment that occurs when you align your consciousness with your desire. For the state you occupy mentally and emotionally is the state you will occupy physically. This is law. This is how your world is shaped. And if you would receive your miracle, you must first learn to occupy the state of its fulfillment in your imagination. Many of you come to me and ask, how can I manifest this desire? How can I make this dream come true? And I say to you, you do not manifest your desire, you manifest what you are. Your world is a perfect reflection of your state of consciousness. Therefore, to change your world, you must change your concept of self. You must dare to assume that you are already the person you wish to be, living in the circumstances you wish to experience. The greatest miracle that can come your way is the discovery of your own divine nature, the realization that you are God in expression, that the creative power of the universe flows through you as naturally as breath. And with this realization comes the understanding that all things are possible to you, for all things are possible to God. Now let us explore the practical application of this principle. How do you prepare yourself to receive the miracle that is rightfully yours? First, you must clarify in your mind exactly what you desire. Many people live in a perpetual state of vague wishing, never crystallizing their desires into clear, definite form. But God, the creative power within you, can only work with definiteness. Therefore, know precisely what you want. Once you have clarified your desire, you must then assume the feeling of already having fulfilled that desire. This is the cardinal secret, my dear friends. This is the art of prayer. Prayer is not begging, prayer is thanksgiving. Prayer is the feeling of gratitude for already having received what you desire. When you pray in this manner, you are aligning yourself with the natural creative flow of the universe. I recall a lady who came to me in dire financial circumstances. She was facing eviction from her apartment and had exhausted all conventional resources. I advised her to assume just before sleep each night that she was falling asleep in a lovely home that belonged to her, feeling the security and peace that comes with such ownership. I told her to persist in this assumption, regardless of any contradictory evidence presented by her senses. Within 1 month, a distant relative whom she had not spoken to in many years unexpectedly passed away, leaving her beautiful home free and clear of any debt. This is the law in operation. She assumed a state of secure home ownership in her imagination, and that state externalized itself in her world. But let me caution you, this principle requires persistence. The habits of thought that have created your present circumstances will resist change. Your conscious assumption must be repeated, must be nurtured, must be persisted in until it takes root in the subconscious mind. And when it does take root, nothing in this world can prevent its manifestation. The miracle you seek is already completed in what I call the fourth dimensional self. In the dimension of consciousness, time is not linear as we experience it here. All states exist now, and the state you wish to occupy already exists in its completeness. Your task is not to create it, but to enter it through the portal of your imagination. Imagine, if you will, that your life is like a vast mansion with countless rooms. Each room represents a different state of consciousness, a different set of circumstances, a different expression of self. The miracle you seek is simply occupying a different room in the mansion of your being. And the key to that room is your assumption, your controlled imagination. Tonight, as you fall asleep, I urge you to imagine that you are experiencing the fulfillment of your heart's desire. Feel the joy, the relief, the satisfaction of having what you longed for. Do not concern yourself with the how or the when. Those details belong to God, to the creative wisdom of your deeper self. Your responsibility is simply to assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled. The Bible tells us faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Your faith, your controlled imagination, your assumption is the very substance that will clothe itself in the material facts of your experience. It is the evidence that precedes physical manifestation. I have tested this principle in countless ways in my own life and in the lives of those who have come to me for counsel. It never fails, it cannot fail, for it is law. Just as the law of gravity operates without regard to your beliefs or opinions about it, so too does the law of assumption operate with mathematical precision. Assume you have your desire, and if you persist in that assumption, it must materialize in your world. Now, some of you may be wondering, what if I have multiple desires? What if there are many miracles I wish to experience? The answer is simple: work on one desire at a time. Choose the desire that, if fulfilled, would bring you the greatest joy, and focus your creative attention on that. When that desire has been realized, move on to the next. The human imagination can be likened to a garden. The thoughts and assumptions you plant today become the facts of tomorrow's harvest. Plant with care, with deliberation, with confidence in the perfect law that governs all creation. I recall a man who desired to double his income. He was working in a field where such an increase seemed impossible, according to conventional wisdom. Yet he faithfully assumed that he was already earning twice his current salary. He would mentally revise his pay stubs, seeing the larger amount. He would feel the relief and security of having that additional income. Within 6 months, he was offered a position in a completely different industry, one he had never even considered, at exactly twice his previous salary. The miracle that awaits you may come in an unexpected form, through an unexpected channel. Do not limit God by insisting on a particular method of fulfillment. Focus only on the end, the state of fulfillment, and let the infinite wisdom of your deeper self determine the bridge of incidents that will lead to the manifestation of your desire. Remember, my dear friends, that creation is finished. All states exist now. I am the Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end, the first and the last. The state you wish to occupy already exists in its completeness. Your task is not to create it, but to claim it, to enter it through the power of your assumption. Tonight I challenge you to test this principle. Choose a desire that seems beyond your reach according to your present circumstances. It may be related to your health, your finances, your relationships, or any other aspect of your life. Clarify exactly what you want. Then, as you prepare for sleep, assume that you already have it. Feel the gratitude, the joy, the fulfillment of possession. Do this night after night and watch as the miracle unfolds in your world. The miracle is coming to you because you are coming to it. You are moving into the state where the desire is already fulfilled. And as you occupy that state faithfully in your imagination, the outer circumstances of your life must reshape themselves to reflect your inner conviction. There is a story I often share about a young woman who desired marriage with a specific man. This man had shown no romantic interest in her whatsoever. In fact, he was dating another woman and had expressed his intention to marry her. The young woman came to me in desperation, asking if there was anything to be done. I instructed her to assume each night as she fell asleep that she was lying beside this man as his wife. I told her to feel his presence, to feel the wedding ring on her finger, to hear him call her by her married name. She did this faithfully for several weeks. One day, the man called her unexpectedly. His relationship with the other woman had ended abruptly, and he found himself thinking of her. They began dating, and within 6 months they were married. The outer circumstances rearrange themselves to conform to her inner assumption. This is not manipulation, my friends. This is not about controlling others or forcing events. It is about entering the state where your desire is fulfilled and allowing the wisdom of your deeper self to bring about the conditions necessary for its manifestation. The great mystic Meister Eckhart said, God is I am. This divine presence, this creative power, is your very being. When you say I am, you are invoking the name of God. And whatever you attach to that divine name, whether positive or negative, you are decreeing for yourself. Be careful then of what you claim with the words I am. For I am is the beginning of creation. I am wealthy. I am healthy. I am love. These are divine decrees that must externalize themselves in your experience if you persist in them. Conversely, I am poor, I am sick, I am unlucky. These two are decrees that will manifest in your world. The power does not lie in the condition, but in the I am that precedes it. The miracle that is coming your way is already in existence, waiting for your recognition. It exists in the dimension of consciousness, in what I call the fourth dimension. From this dimension, all things flow into the three-dimensional world of our physical experience. To enter this fourth dimension, you must silence the senses. You must temporarily shut out the evidence of the three-dimensional world and enter the chamber of your imagination. There, in that quiet place, you can assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled. And that feeling persisted in will harden into fact in your three-dimensional experience. Many of us have been taught that seeing is believing. But I say to you, believing is seeing. What you believe in your heart, what you faithfully assume to be true, will ultimately be seen in your world. This is the true meaning of faith. Faith is not hoping or wishing. Faith is the conviction of the reality of the unseen. The miracle you seek may seem distant or even impossible according to your present circumstances. But I assure you it is nearer than your breath, closer than your heartbeat. It exists now in the realm of consciousness, and through your faithful assumption, it will be drawn into your physical experience. I want to share with you a practical technique that has helped many realize their desired miracles. I call it revision. Each night before you sleep, review the events of your day. If any event was less than perfect, if there was conflict, disappointment, or failure, revise it in your imagination. See it unfolding differently, in a way that aligns with your desires. For instance, if you had a disagreement with a colleague, revise the scene. Imagine the conversation proceeding harmoniously with mutual understanding and respect. Feel the satisfaction of this harmonious exchange. This is not mere fantasy. This is the actual reshaping of your world. The Bible tells us the kingdom of God is within you. This kingdom is the realm of imagination, the fourth dimension, from which all creation flows. It is the realm of the miraculous where all things are possible. And it is within you, accessible through your controlled imagination. The miracle that is coming your way is not dependent on external conditions or other people's actions. It is dependent solely on your state of consciousness. Change your concept of self and you change your world. For the world is yourself pushed out. I recall a gentleman who desired a promotion at work. He had been passed over several times, and according to office politics, he was not next in line for advancement. I advised him to assume each night before sleep that he had already received the promotion. I told him to hear the congratulations of his colleagues, to feel the satisfaction of the increased responsibility and compensation. Within 2 weeks, the person who held the position he desired unexpectedly resigned to pursue another opportunity. Despite the established protocols, he was offered the position. The outer circumstances rearranged themselves to conform to his inner assumption. This principle applies to every aspect of your life, your health, your relationships, your financial situation, your professional status. Whatever you desire to experience, assume that you are already experiencing it. Feel the reality of its fulfillment. Persist in this assumption, and it must manifest in your world. Some may call this magical thinking, but I assure you, it is the most practical, scientific approach to deliberate creation. For your assumptions persisted in become your beliefs. Your beliefs shape your perceptions. Your perceptions influence your actions. And your actions determine your results. The sequence begins with your assumption, the seed from which your miracle grows. Plant that seed in the fertile soil of your subconscious mind through the feeling of your wish fulfilled, and it will grow into the manifest fact of your experience. The miracle you are preparing to receive is not something that will happen to you. It is something that will happen in you. It is a shift in consciousness, a new self-concept, a new definition of reality. And from that inner shift, all outer conditions must change. I want to emphasize again the importance of feeling in this process. It is not enough to intellectually affirm your desire. You must feel it, emotionally experience it as real. For feeling is the language of the subconscious mind, and it is through the subconscious that your assumptions are realized. When you lie down to sleep tonight, enter into the feeling of your wish fulfilled. What would it feel like if your desire were already realized? Would you feel relief, joy, security, peace? Whatever the feeling would be, immerse yourself in it as you drift off to sleep. This plants your assumption deep in the subconscious, where it will begin to grow into objective fact. The sleep state is particularly effective for this practice because in sleep, the conscious, rational mind is temporarily suspended. The barriers of disbelief and doubt are lowered, allowing your assumption to take root more deeply in the subconscious. I have observed that many people sabotage their miracles through conflicting assumptions. They assume the fulfillment of their desire when they engage in conscious prayer or visualization, but then assume its absence or impossibility in their daily thinking and conversation. Remember, what you assume throughout the day is also creative. Be vigilant in maintaining the assumption of your wish fulfilled in all your thinking. The biblical story of the prodigal son beautifully illustrates the principle I am sharing with you tonight. The son, having squandered his inheritance, decides to return home. But notice what the father says when he sees his son approaching. This my son was dead and is alive again. He was lost and is found. The father does not say, my son will be alive, he will be found. He speaks in the present tense, declaring the completed reality. This is the language of successful prayer, the language of miraculous manifestation. Speak of your desires already fulfilled, already realized, already accomplished. The miracle you seek is already finished in the mind of God in your own wonderful human imagination. Your task is to align your conscious thinking with this completed reality, to assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, to live from the end. I am often asked, how long will it take for my desire to manifest? The answer depends on the intensity of your assumption and the naturalness with which you can feel your wish fulfilled. For some, manifestation is instantaneous. For others, it may take weeks or months. But this I can assure you. If you persist in your assumption, manifestation is certain. The Bible promises, though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not tarry. Your miracle is on its way to you at this very moment, moving toward you through a series of events, a bridge of incidents, orchestrated by the infinite wisdom of your deeper self. Do not be concerned with the how. Do not try to manipulate external circumstances or control other people's actions. Focus solely on maintaining the feeling of your wish fulfilled, and let the creative power within you determine the path of least resistance to its manifestation. I would like to share with you a powerful practice that will help you receive your miracle. It is the practice of gratitude. Gratitude is the feeling that accompanies the fulfillment of desire. When your desire is realized, you naturally feel grateful. By deliberately cultivating gratitude now before the physical manifestation, you are affirming that your desire is already fulfilled in consciousness. Each day, take time to give thanks for the fulfillment of your desire. Feel the gratitude deep in your heart. Let it permeate your being. This attitude of thanksgiving is a powerful magnetic force that draws your good to you. Remember, the kingdom of heaven is like a mustard seed, which is the smallest of all seeds. But when it grows, it becomes a tree large enough for birds to nest in its branches. Your assumption, your feeling of the wish fulfilled may seem small and insignificant compared to the vastness of your external reality. But if you nurture it with faith and persistence, it will grow into a manifest fact large enough to transform your entire life. The miracle that is coming your way is already within you, waiting for your recognition. It is not something that must be created. It is something that must be accepted. And you accept it by assuming the feeling of its reality, by living from the end. I encourage you to test this principle in your own life. Start with something small, something you can easily accept as possible. As you gain confidence in the law of assumption, you can apply it to increasingly significant desires. But whether your desire seems small or great by human standards, the principle remains the same. Assume you have it, feel the reality of possession, and it must objectify itself in your world. The Bible tells us with God all things are possible. And since God is your own wonderful human imagination, this means that all things are possible to the one who believes, who assumes, who feels the reality of the wish fulfilled. Tonight, as you prepare to receive your miracle, I urge you to remember these words: be still and know that I am God. In the stillness of your own consciousness, in the quiet of your own heart, you will find the power to transform your world. For it is in this stillness that you can most effectively assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled. The outer world will present evidence contrary to your desire. It will bombard you with facts that seem to contradict the possibility of your miracle. But remember, facts are only the fruit of past assumptions. They have no power to determine your future unless you give them that power through your continued assumption. Choose instead to assume the reality of your wish fulfilled, regardless of appearances. This requires courage and persistence, but it is the path to the miraculous transformation of your world. I recall a woman who had been diagnosed with a chronic illness for which medical science offered no cure. She was told she would have to manage her symptoms for the rest of her life. But she refused to accept this verdict. Each night she would fall asleep feeling perfectly healthy and whole. She would imagine her doctor expressing amazement at her complete recovery. She persisted in this assumption for several months. At her next medical examination, her doctor was indeed amazed to find no trace of the disease. He ordered additional tests, all of which confirmed her perfect health. Medical science could not explain it, but she understood the principle at work. She had assumed a feeling of perfect health, and her body conformed to that assumption. This is the miracle that awaits each of you, the discovery of your own creative power, the realization that your assumptions shape your world. It is the greatest gift, the pearl of great price, the treasure hidden in the field of your own consciousness. As you go forward from this night, I urge you to watch your assumptions carefully. Be aware of what you are assuming in each moment of your day. Are your assumptions aligned with your desires, or are they perpetuating conditions you wish to change? Remember, your subconscious accepts as true whatever you feel to be true. If you feel poverty, you perpetuate poverty. If you feel wealth, you perpetuate wealth. If you feel sickness, you perpetuate sickness. If you feel health, you perpetuate health. The choice is yours in every moment. The miracle that is coming your way is already complete in consciousness. It exists now as a present fact in the fourth dimension. Your consistent assumption of its reality will bring it into your three-dimensional experience, your physical world. I want to emphasize once more the importance of feeling in this process. I am not speaking of mere intellectual acceptance or verbal affirmation. I am speaking of emotional involvement, of feeling the reality of your wish fulfilled. For it is through feeling that your assumption is transmitted to the subconscious, where it becomes the seed of manifestation. Tonight, identify the feeling that would be yours if your desire were already fulfilled. Would you feel relief, security, joy, love? Peace. Whatever that feeling is, immerse yourself in it. Let it permeate your being. Fall asleep bathed in that feeling. And you are planting the seed of your miracle in the fertile soil of the subconscious. The Bible tells us, according to your faith be it unto you. Faith is not mere hope or wishful thinking. Faith is the feeling of the reality of that which is not yet manifest to the senses. It is the conviction of the reality of the unseen. And this faith, this feeling conviction, is the substance that will clothe itself in the material fact of your experience. As we conclude our time together, I want to leave you with this thought. You are the operant power in your world. Your consciousness is the creative force from which all things flow. The miracle you seek is already within you, waiting for your recognition, waiting for your acceptance through the law of assumption. Go forth from this place with the confidence that your miracle is on its way to you. In fact, it is already yours in the reality of consciousness. Live from that assumption, feel the joy of its fulfillment, and watch as your outer world reshapes itself to reflect your inner conviction. As we embark on this exploration together, I want you to remember one fundamental truth. You are the operant power in your world. Your consciousness, your imagination, is the very substance from which your reality is formed. And it is through the conscious direction of your imagination that you will eliminate these 11 things from your life. Not through forced struggle, but through a shift in your consciousness. Let us begin with the first thing you must quietly eliminate: doubt. Doubt, my dear friends, is the great enemy of manifestation. It is the shadow that obscures the light of your divine imagination. When you entertain doubt, you create a divided mind, a state of consciousness that cannot bring forth your desires into physical reality. But how do you eliminate doubt? Not by fighting against it, for what you resist persists. No, you eliminate doubt by cultivating an unshakable faith in the power of your imagination. Remember, the Bible tells us faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Your faith, your absolute knowing that what you desire is already yours in the realm of imagination, is the very substance from which your desire will be made manifest in the physical world. To eliminate doubt, you must practice living from the end. See yourself as already having that which you desire. Feel the joy, the satisfaction, the fulfillment of your wish fulfilled. Make this state so real, so vivid in your imagination that it becomes more real to you than the current circumstances of your life. For remember, my friends, your imagination is the reality, and the outer world is merely a shadow. As you cultivate this faith, as you live consistently in the state of the wish fulfilled, you will find that doubt naturally falls away. It cannot exist in the light of your unwavering faith. And as doubt disappears, you will witness the miraculous unfolding of your desires in the world around you. Now, let us move on to the second thing you must quietly eliminate: negative self-talk. The words you speak to yourself, the internal dialogue that runs through your mind, are incredibly powerful. They are, in fact, the very seeds from which your reality grows. How often do you catch yourself saying things like, I can't, it's too hard, or I'm not good enough? These phrases, my dear friends, are acts of creation. They are shaping your world, limiting your possibilities, and keeping you bound to a reality that falls short of your true potential. To eliminate negative self-talk, you must become aware of it. Listen to your inner dialogue as if you were an impartial observer. When you catch yourself in negative self-talk, do not judge or criticize yourself. Simply observe it, and then consciously choose to replace it with affirming, empowering thoughts. Speak to yourself as you would to someone you deeply love and respect. Affirm your power, your worthiness, your ability to create and manifest your desires. Say to yourself, I am capable, I am worthy, I can achieve anything I set my mind to, and most importantly, embody the feeling of these statements. Feel their truth in every cell of your being. Remember, it is not the words themselves that have power, but the feeling behind them. As you consistently speak to yourself with love and respect, as you affirm your power and worthiness, you will find that your outer world begins to reflect this new self-concept. Opportunities will arise, circumstances will align, and you will find yourself naturally embodying the person you've been affirming yourself to be. The third thing to quietly eliminate from your life is the need for external validation. How many of us have lived our lives seeking approval from others? How many decisions have we made, not based on our own inner guidance, but on what we think others will approve of? This need for external validation is a prison, my friends. It keeps you bound to the opinions and expectations of others, preventing you from fully expressing your true self and living your authentic purpose. To eliminate this need, you must realize a fundamental truth. You are already complete, already worthy, already enough. Your worth is not determined by the opinions of others, but by your own self-concept. And remember, your self-concept is something you have the power to choose and create. Choose now to see yourself as worthy, as deserving of all good things. Choose to approve of yourself, to validate your own experiences and emotions. As you do this, as you become your own source of validation, you will find that the need for external approval naturally falls away. This doesn't mean you become indifferent to others or disregard their feelings. On the contrary, when you no longer need others' approval to feel worthy, you are free to engage with them from a place of authenticity and love. You can appreciate their opinions without being controlled by them. You can receive compliments with grace, knowing they reflect your own self-concept rather than defining it. The fourth element to quietly eliminate is the habit of comparison. In this age of social media and constant connectivity, it's all too easy to fall into the trap of comparing our lives to others. We see carefully curated highlights of others' lives and measure our own against them, often finding ourselves falling short. But remember, my dear friends, comparison is the thief of joy. It robs you of your unique journey, your individual path of growth and self-discovery. No two souls have the same purpose, the same journey, the same lessons to learn. When you compare yourself to others, you are attempting to walk a path that was never meant for you. Instead of comparison, cultivate appreciation. Appreciate your own journey with all its ups and downs, for it is uniquely yours. Appreciate the journeys of others, knowing that their success does not diminish your own. In fact, when you can genuinely celebrate the success of others, you align yourself with the abundance of the universe and open yourself to receiving your own blessings. Remember, in the infinite realm of imagination, there is no scarcity. There is more than enough success, love, abundance for everyone. When you eliminate comparison and embrace appreciation, you step into this abundance mindset, and you will find that your life becomes richer in every way. The fifth thing to quietly eliminate is the belief in limitations. How often have you told yourself, I can't do that, that's impossible, or that's just the way things are? These beliefs in limitations are nothing more than constructs of the mind, yet they have the power to shape your reality. Remember, my friends, the only true limitations are those you accept in your own mind. In the realm of imagination, all things are possible. Your physical reality is nothing more than an outpicturing of your beliefs and assumptions. When you eliminate the belief in limitations, you open yourself to infinite possibilities. To do this, start challenging your limiting beliefs. When you catch yourself thinking, I can't, ask yourself, what if I could? When you think something is impossible, ask, what would it look like if it were possible? Allow your imagination to play with these possibilities. Feel the excitement, the joy, the freedom of a life without self-imposed limitations. As you do this, you'll find that your perception of what's possible begins to expand. Opportunities you never noticed before will start to appear. Solutions to problems will present themselves. You'll start to see evidence of your own limitless nature reflected in the world around you. The sixth element to quietly eliminate from your life is the habit of dwelling on the past. How many of us carry the weight of past mistakes, past hurts, past failures? We replay these events in our minds, relieving the pain, the embarrassment, the regret. But in doing so, we keep ourselves bound to these past experiences, unable to fully step into the present moment and create our desired future. Remember, my dear friends, the past only exists in your memory. It has no power over you except the power you give it through your attention. When you dwell on the past, you are using your imagination, the very power that could be creating your desired future, to recreate and relive past experiences. Instead of dwelling on the past, choose to focus on the present moment and the future you desire to create. Use your imagination to create vivid scenes, detailed scenes of your ideal life. Feel the joy, the satisfaction, the fulfillment of living that life now. As you do this consistently, you'll find that the hold of the past begins to loosen. The energy you once used to relive past events is now directed towards creating your desired future. This doesn't mean denying or suppressing past experiences. It means choosing where to place your attention. Acknowledge the past, learn from it, if there are lessons to be learned, but then release it. Choose instead to live in the present moment, creating the future you desire. The seventh thing to quietly eliminate is the habit of worry. Worry, my friends, is negative imagination. It is the misuse of your creative power to conjure up scenarios of lack, failure, or disaster. And remember, what you imagine with feeling, you create. When you worry, you are essentially imagining and feeling undesirable futures into existence. You are using the power of your imagination against yourself, creating the very scenarios you fear. To eliminate worry, you must redirect your imagination. When you catch yourself worrying about a future event, consciously choose to imagine a positive outcome instead. See the situation resolving in the best possible way. Feel the relief, the joy, the satisfaction of this positive resolution. Remember, your imagination does not distinguish between what you fear and what you desire. It simply responds to what you focus on with feeling. So choose wisely where you place your attention. Use your imagination to create the outcomes you desire, not the ones you fear. As you practice this, you'll find that worry begins to lose its grip on you. You'll develop a deep trust in the unfolding of life, knowing that you have the power to shape your experiences through your imagination. The eighth element to quietly eliminate from your life is the need to control everything. Many of us live with the belief that if we can just control every aspect of our lives, we can ensure our safety, success, and happiness. But this need for control is an illusion that often leads to stress, anxiety, and frustration. The truth is, my dear friends, that you cannot control every external circumstance in your life. The only thing you truly have control over is your own state of consciousness, your own imagination. And ironically, when you let go of the need to control everything externally and instead focus on controlling your inner world, you gain a kind of mastery over your life that external control could never provide. Instead of trying to control circumstances, focus on controlling your reactions to circumstances. Choose the meaning you give to events. Choose the state of consciousness you occupy. Remember, it's not the events of your life that shape your reality, but your interpretation of those events. As you let go of the need for external control and instead master your inner world, you'll find that life begins to flow more smoothly. You'll develop a deep trust in the unfolding of events, knowing that you have the power to shape your experience of life regardless of external circumstances. The ninth thing to quietly eliminate is the habit of complaining. Complaining, my friends, is another misuse of your creative power. When you complain, you are focusing your attention on what you don't want, and remember, what you focus on expands. Every time you complain, you are affirming the existence of the very thing you're complaining about. You are using your imagination to create and sustain the conditions you say you don't want. Instead of complaining, practice gratitude. Focus your attention on what you appreciate about your life, about your circumstances, about the people around you. As you do this, you'll find that you have more and more to be grateful for. The conditions you once complained about will begin to shift and change, or your perception of them will change in a way that no longer evokes complaint. Remember, gratitude is not just a passive feeling, but a creative force. When you live in a state of gratitude, you align yourself with the abundance of the universe. You open yourself to receiving more of what you appreciate. The 10th element to quietly eliminate from your life is the belief in scarcity. This belief manifests in thoughts like there's not enough to go around if someone else succeeds. It means less for me, or I have to struggle and compete to get what I want. This scarcity mindset is a product of the physical world, where resources can indeed be limited. But remember, my dear friends, you are not just physical beings. You are spiritual beings, connected to the infinite abundance of the universe. In the realm of imagination, in the realm of consciousness, there is no scarcity. There is infinite potential, infinite possibility. To eliminate the belief in scarcity, you must cultivate an abundance mindset. Begin to see abundance all around you. Appreciate the abundance of air you breathe, the abundance of thoughts you can think, the abundance of love you can feel. As you recognize and appreciate the abundance that already exists in your life, you open yourself to experiencing even greater abundance. Remember, the universe is not a finite pie where if someone gets a bigger slice, there's less for you. The universe is infinitely abundant, constantly expanding. There is more than enough for everyone. When you live from this truth, when you embody this abundance mindset, you'll find that opportunities, resources, and blessings naturally flow into your life. The 11th and final thing to quietly eliminate from your life is the belief in separation. This is perhaps the most fundamental illusion to overcome, for it underlies many of the other things we've discussed. The belief in separation manifests in many ways. We see ourselves as separate from others, separate from nature, separate from the divine. This perceived separation leads to fear, conflict, and a sense of lack. But the truth, my dear friends, is that we are all one. We are all individualized expressions of the same divine consciousness. Your true self, your I am, is not separate from the I am of others or the I am of the universe. It is one and the same. To eliminate the belief in separation, practice seeing the divine in everything and everyone. Recognize that the same consciousness that animates you animates all of life. When you look at another person, silently acknowledge I am that I am. When you look at nature, recognize it as another expression of the same consciousness that you are. As you practice this, you'll find that your sense of connection deepens. You'll experience a profound sense of unity with all of life. This doesn't mean you lose your individuality. Rather, you recognize your individuality as a unique expression of the one divine consciousness. When you eliminate the belief in separation, you tap into the infinite power of the universe. You recognize that the power that created the stars and galaxies is the same power that beats your heart and thinks your thoughts. You realize that you are not a small, separate self struggling against the world, but an integral part of the grand tapestry of life. Now, my dear friends, as we come to the end of our exploration of these 11 things to quietly eliminate from your life, I want you to remember that this elimination is not about force or struggle. It's about a shift in consciousness. It's about choosing a new state of being. Each of these 11 elements, doubt, negative self-talk, need for external validation, comparison, belief in limitations, dwelling on the past, worry, need for control, complaining, belief in scarcity, and belief in separation are simply states of consciousness. They are patterns of thought and feeling that you have practiced perhaps unconsciously over time. To eliminate them, you don't need to fight against them. You simply need to choose a new state. Choose faith instead of doubt. Choose self-love instead of negative self-talk. Choose self-validation instead of seeking it externally. Choose appreciation instead of comparison. Choose limitless possibility instead of perceived limitations. Choose to focus on the present and the future you desire to create instead of dwelling on the past. Choose positive imagination instead of worry. Choose to master your inner world instead of trying to control the outer. Choose gratitude instead of complaining. Choose to see and appreciate abundance instead of scarcity. And choose to recognize your oneness with all of life instead of believing in separation. As you make these choices consistently, as you practice these new states of being, you will find that the old patterns naturally fall away. They cannot persist in the light of your new consciousness. Remember, my friends, this is not a journey of adding something to yourself or becoming something you're not. It's a journey of removing the veils that have obscured your true nature. It's about eliminating the false beliefs and limiting patterns that have kept you from fully expressing your divine self. You are already whole, already complete, already one with the creative power of the universe. These 11 things we've discussed are simply illusions that have made you forget this truth. As you quietly eliminate them from your life, you are not becoming something new, but remembering who you have always been. So go forth from here with a new awareness, a new intention. Choose consciously the states you will occupy. Use your imagination, your divine creative power, to construct the inner world you desire to inhabit. For as you change your inner world, you will find your outer world changing to match it. This is the promise and the challenge I leave you with today. It is the invitation to step fully into your power as a divine creator. It is the call to remember your true nature and to live from that remembrance. You have within you the power to transform your life completely. You have the ability to create a life of joy, abundance, love, and fulfillment. And it all begins with the quiet elimination of these 11 things from your consciousness. So start today, my dear friends. Start now. Choose a new state of being. Live from the end, from the state of your wish fulfilled. Feel the joy, the satisfaction, the peace of being the person you desire to be, of living the life you desire to live. For remember, in the realm of imagination, in the realm of consciousness, you are already that person. You are already living that life. Your outer world has no choice but to conform to this inner reality. This is the law. This is the promise. This is the truth of your being. Embrace it, live it, become it. For in doing so, you fulfill your highest purpose and express your true self. Go forth and create miracles, my friends, for that is what you are here to do. That is who you truly are, miracle workers, divine creators, expressions of the infinite power of the universe. Thank you. And may your journey of quiet elimination lead you to the full realization of your divine nature and the complete manifestation of your heart's desires. Now, when I speak of silence, I do not merely refer to the absence of sound, though that is certainly a part of it. No, the silence I speak of is far more profound, far more transformative. It is the silence of the mind, the stillness of the soul, the quiet that precedes all creation. In this world of constant noise and chatter, where every moment seems filled with the clamor of thoughts and the din of external stimuli, we have forgotten the power that lies in silence. We have forgotten that it is in the depths of silence that we connect with our true selves, with the divine within us, with the very source of all creation. Consider for a moment the words of Scripture. Be still and know that I am God. These words are not a mere suggestion, my dear friends. They are a command, the key to unlocking the infinite potential that resides within each and every one of you. For it is in that stillness, in that silence, that we come to know our true nature, our oneness with the divine. You see, the real truth of being silent is that it is the gateway to all manifestation. It is the fertile soil in which the seeds of your desires take root and grow. It is the canvas upon which you paint the masterpiece of your life. In silence, you become the author of your own story, the creator of your own reality. But how, you may ask, can silence be so powerful? How can the absence of action, the cessation of thought, lead to the fulfillment of our deepest desires? The answer, my friends, lies in understanding the nature of reality itself. You see, the world you perceive around you with all its seeming solidity and permanence is but a shadow, a reflection of your inner state. Your consciousness, your awareness, is the substance from which all things are formed. And it is in the silence of your mind that you gain access to this substance, this creative power. When you enter into silence, when you still the incessant chatter of your thoughts, you enter into the realm of pure potential. In this state, unencumbered by doubts, fears, or limiting beliefs, you are free to impress upon your subconscious mind the image of your desired reality. And make no mistake, it is your subconscious mind that shapes your world, that molds the circumstances of your life to match your inner convictions. Let me share with you a fundamental truth. Imagination creates reality. Your imagination, when focused and imbued with the feeling of reality, becomes the blueprint from which your life is built, and it is in silence that your imagination is most potent, most alive. In the silence of your mind, you can see with perfect clarity the life you wish to lead. You can feel with every fiber of your being the joy, the success, the love that you desire. And in feeling it, in experiencing it within your imagination as a present fact, you set in motion the forces that will bring it into your physical reality. This, my dear friends, is the law of assumption. When you assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled, when you live from the end as if your desire were already a fact, you align yourself with the creative power of the universe. You become one with your desire, and in that state of oneness, manifestation becomes inevitable. But to reach this state, to truly embody the feeling of your wish fulfilled, you must first cultivate silence. You must learn to quiet the doubting voice of your rational mind, to still the turbulent waters of your emotions. For it is only in the calm, in the silence, that you can clearly hear the voice of your intuition, the whisper of your higher self. Now, some of you may be thinking, but Neville, how can I possibly find silence in this noisy world? How can I quiet my mind when it's constantly bombarded with thoughts and worries? And to you, I say this: silence is not something you find, it is something you create. The practice of silence begins with a decision, a commitment to turn inward, to disconnect from the external world and reconnect with your inner being. It begins with setting aside time each day, even if only for a few minutes, to sit in quietude, to observe your thoughts without judgment, to simply be. As you cultivate this practice, you will find that silence becomes not just a state you enter into during meditation, but a constant companion, a refuge you can access at any moment. You will discover that even in the midst of chaos, you can tap into an inner wellspring of peace and clarity. But the real truth of being silent goes beyond mere relaxation or stress relief. It is a transformative practice that alters the very fabric of your being. In silence, you begin to peel away the layers of conditioning, the false beliefs and limitations that have been imposed upon you by society, by your upbringing, by your past experiences. You see, my friends, most of us go through life wearing masks, playing roles that have been assigned to us by others. We identify with our jobs, our possessions, our relationships, our social status. But these are not who we truly are. They are merely costumes we wear in the grand play of life. In silence, you begin to see through these illusions. You come face to face with your true self, your eternal, unchanging essence. And in that recognition, in that remembrance of who you really are, you reclaim your power as a creative being, as a co-creator with the divine. This is why silence is so threatening to the ego, to the false self that thrives on noise and distraction. The ego fears silence because in silence it ceases to exist. In the pure awareness that arises in deep silence, there is no ego, no separate self. There is only the I am, the eternal presence that is your true nature. And it is from this state of pure being, this state of I am, that all creation springs forth. When you silence the mind and enter into the I am state, you tap into the infinite potential of the universe. You become a clear channel through which the divine can express itself in the world. This, my dear friends, is the real power of silence. It is not passive, it is not weak. On the contrary, it is the most potent force in the universe. For in silence, you align yourself with the very source of all creation. You become one with the power that spins galaxies and orchestrates the dance of subatomic particles. Now let me be clear. The silence I speak of is not a retreat from the world. It is not about escaping your responsibilities or avoiding the challenges of life. No, the silence I speak of is a dynamic, creative force that empowers you to engage with life more fully, more authentically. When you cultivate inner silence, you develop a clarity of perception that allows you to see through the world. You begin to recognize that the external circumstances of your life are but reflections of your inner state. And in this recognition lies true freedom, true power. For if your world is a reflection of your consciousness, then by changing your consciousness, you change your world. This is the promise and the challenge of the practice of silence. It offers you the keys to the kingdom, but it also demands that you take full responsibility for your life, for your creations. In the silence of your mind, you will encounter your fears, your doubts, your unresolved emotions. You will come face to face with the parts of yourself that you have denied or repressed. This can be uncomfortable, even frightening at times. But remember, my friends, that these shadows only have power over you as long as they remain in darkness. By bringing them into the light of your awareness, by observing them without judgment in the silence of your mind, you begin to dissolve these limiting patterns. You free yourself from the unconscious programming that has been running your life on autopilot. This is why the practice of silence is so transformative. It is not just about manifesting your desires, though that is certainly a powerful aspect of it. It is about awakening to your true nature, about remembering who you really are beyond all the roles and identities you have assumed. In silence, you discover that you are not your thoughts, not your emotions, not your body. These are all aspects of your experience, but they are not your essence. Your essence is the awareness that perceives these things, the consciousness that underlies all experience. And when you realize this, when you truly know this, not just intellectually, but experientially, your entire relationship with life changes. You no longer feel like a victim of circumstances, buffeted about by the winds of fate. You recognize yourself as the author of your experience, as the creator of your reality. This recognition brings with it a profound sense of peace, a deep trust in the unfolding of life. For when you know that you are one with the creative power of the universe, what is there to fear? When you understand that all experiences, all circumstances are but reflections of your own consciousness, what is there to resist? In this state of inner silence, of deep trust, manifestation becomes effortless. You no longer need to struggle or strive to make things happen. You simply hold the image of your desire in your mind, feel it as real, and then release it, knowing that the infinite intelligence of the universe will bring it about in divine timing. This is the art of conscious creation, and it is born in silence. It is in the quiet of your mind that you can most clearly formulate your intentions, most vividly imagine your desired reality, and most deeply feel the emotion of your wish fulfilled. But remember, my friends, that the power of silence extends beyond individual manifestation. As you cultivate inner silence, as you align yourself with the creative power of the universe, you become a force for transformation in the world. You see, you are all connected, all part of the same universal consciousness. When you change your inner state, when you raise your vibration through the practice of silence, you contribute to the elevation of collective consciousness. You become a beacon of light, radiating peace and possibility to all those around you. This is how real change happens in the world, not through force or struggle, but through the silent revolution of consciousness. As more and more individuals awaken to their true nature, as more and more people cultivate the power of silence, we create a ripple effect that has the potential to transform our entire society, our entire world. Imagine a world where people are no longer driven by fear, greed, and the need for external validation. Imagine a world where each individual recognizes their inherent divinity, their innate power to create. This is the world we can create through the practice of silence. But it begins with you. It begins with your commitment to cultivate inner silence, to turn within and reconnect with your true self. It begins with your willingness to face your fears, to challenge your limiting beliefs, to imagine a greater possibility for your life and for the world. The journey into silence is not always easy. There will be times when the noise of the world seems overwhelming, when the chatter of your mind seems incessant. There will be moments of doubt, of frustration, of impatience. But I urge you, my dear friends, to persist. For in those moments of challenge lie the greatest opportunities for growth, for transformation. It is often in our darkest hours that we discover our greatest light. It is when we feel most lost that we are on the verge of finding ourselves. So I invite you here and now to make a commitment to silence. Commit to setting aside time each day to sit in quietude, to turn within and listen to the wisdom of your heart. Commit to observing your thoughts, your emotions, your reactions without judgment, simply witnessing them as they arise and pass away. As you do this, you will begin to notice subtle shifts in your perception. The world around you may appear brighter, more alive. You may find yourself responding to situations with greater calm, greater clarity. You may notice synchronicities and serendipities occurring more frequently in your life. These are all signs that you are aligning with the creative power of the universe. They are confirmations that you are on the right path, that your practice of silence is bearing fruit. But remember, the greatest confirmation, the truest measure of your progress is the peace you feel within. It is the growing sense of connection to something greater than yourself, the deepening trust in the unfolding of life. As you continue on this path, as you deepen your practice of silence, you will discover that it becomes not just a practice but a way of life. You will find yourself naturally turning within in moments of challenge or decision, naturally seeking the guidance of your inner wisdom. You will discover that you no longer need to force things to happen in your life. Instead, you will learn to flow with the current of life, to co-create with the universe in a dance of effortless manifestation. This, my dear friends, is the real truth of being silent. It is not about absence but presence. It is not about emptiness but fullness. It is about tapping into the infinite potential that lies within you, about aligning with the creative power of the universe. In silence, you discover that you are not separate from the source of all creation. You are that source expressing itself in human form. You are the universe experiencing itself through your unique perspective. And when you know this, when you live from this truth, your life becomes a joyous adventure of creation and self-discovery. You no longer feel bound by limitations or constrained by circumstances. You recognize that the only limits that exist are those you have accepted in your own mind. In silence, you have the power to transcend these self-imposed limitations. You have the power to reimagine yourself, to rewrite the story of your life. You have the power to create a life that is a true expression of your highest potential, your deepest desires. So I urge you, my dear friends, embrace the practice of silence. Make it a cornerstone of your daily life. For in doing so, you are not just transforming your own life, you are contributing to the transformation of our world. Every moment of silence, every instance of turning within, every act of conscious creation ripples out into the collective consciousness. It adds to the growing wave of awakening that is sweeping across our planet. You are part of this great awakening. Your commitment to silence, to inner transformation, is a vital contribution to the evolution of human consciousness. Never underestimate the power of your individual practice, for it is through the transformation of individuals that we transform the world. As you leave here today, I invite you to carry this message of silence with you. Let it be a constant reminder of your true nature, of your innate power to create. Let it inspire you to turn within, to seek the wisdom and guidance that resides in the silence of your own heart. Remember, the kingdom of heaven is within you. It is not something to be sought in the external world, but a state of consciousness to be realized through the practice of silence. It is your birthright, your true inheritance as a divine being having a human experience. So claim your birthright. Embrace the silence. Allow it to reveal to you the infinite potential that lies within. Allow it to guide you to the fulfillment of your deepest desires, to the realization of your highest purpose. For in the end, my dear friends, this is what the practice of silence offers: the opportunity to live a life of purpose, of passion, of deep fulfillment. It offers us the chance to become conscious co-creators with the divine, to play our unique part in the grand symphony of creation. This is the real truth of being silent. It is the key to unlocking the treasure house of your own being, to accessing the infinite wisdom and power that resides within you. It is the path to true freedom, true happiness, true self-realization. So go forth from here with a renewed commitment to silence. Make it your constant companion, your trusted guide on the journey of life. Let it lead you to the deepest truths of your being, to the fullest expression of your divine nature. And as you do, know that you are not alone on this journey. The same power that spins the galaxies, that orchestrates the dance of life, is within you, supporting you, guiding you every step of the way. Trust in this power. Surrender to it. Allow it to work through you, to express itself as you. For you are a divine being, a creative force in the universe. You have within you the power to shape your reality, to manifest your desires, to create a life of joy, abundance, and fulfillment. This is the promise of silence. This is the gift that awaits you in the quiet depths of your own being. Embrace it, my dear friends. Live it, be it. And in doing so, you will not only transform your own life, but you will contribute to the transformation of our world. You will become a beacon of light, a channel for divine expression, a living embodiment of the truth that lies at the heart of all creation. This is your calling. This is your destiny. This is the real truth of being silent. So let us go forth from here with renewed purpose, with deepened commitment to our inner journey. Let us embrace the power of silence, knowing that in its depths lie the keys to our freedom, our fulfillment, our ultimate realization. For in silence, we find our true selves. In silence, we connect with the divine. In silence, we become co-creators with the universe. This is the promise. This is the possibility. This is the truth. And it is available to each and every one of you here and now, in this very moment. So take a deep breath, my friends. Close your eyes for a moment. Feel the silence that surrounds you, that permeates you. Feel the power that resides within you. And in this moment of stillness, of inner quiet, set your intention. Commit to making silence a part of your daily life. Commit to turning within, to listening to the wisdom of your heart, to aligning with the creative power of the universe. For in this commitment lies the seed of your transformation. In this decision to embrace silence lies the potential for a life beyond your wildest dreams. So step boldly into the silence, my friends. Step boldly into your power. Step boldly into the grand adventure of conscious creation that awaits you. For this is your birthright. This is your destiny. This is the real truth of being silent. And it is calling you home to yourself, to your true nature, to the infinite potential that lies within you. Answer the call, my friends. Embrace the silence and watch as your life transforms in miraculous ways. For in silence, all things are possible. In silence, you are infinite. In silence, you are free. This is the truth. This is the way. This is the life that awaits you. So go forth and be silent. Go forth and be powerful. Go forth and be the creator of magnificent reality. For this is who you truly are. This is what you came here to be. This is the real truth of being silent. And it is yours now and always to claim to live. Thank you, my dear friends. May the power of silence guide you, bless you, and transform you. May you realize the fullness of your divine nature and create a life that is a testament to the infinite potential that resides within you. Remember, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. And your journey into the transformative power of silence begins with this moment, with the decision to turn within and listen to the wisdom of your heart. So take that step, my friends. Embrace the silence and watch as the miracles unfold in your life. For this is the promise of silence. This is the gift that awaits you. This is the real truth of being silent. And it is yours now and forever to explore, to embody, to become. Go in peace, my friends. Go in power. Go in the knowing that you are divine beings, creators of your own reality, masters of your own destiny. For this is the truth that silence reveals. This is the reality that awaits you in the quiet depths of your own being. Embrace it. Live it. For in doing so, you fulfill your highest purpose. You express your truest nature. You become who you were always meant to be. This is the invitation of silence. This is the promise of your own divine nature. This is the real truth of being silent. And it is calling you home to yourself, to your power, to your truth. Answer the call, my friends. Step into the silence and watch as your life transforms in ways you never thought possible. For in silence, all things are possible. In silence, you are infinite. In silence, you are free. This is the truth. This is the way. This is the life that awaits you. So go forth and be silent. Go forth and be powerful. Go forth and be the creator of your own magnificent reality. For this is who you truly are. This is what you came here to be. This is the real truth of being silent. And it is yours now and always to claim, to live, to be. Thank you. And may the power of silence guide you always.